Hello everybody and welcome back to Pokemon White 2. Alright everyone, now that we've gotten a gym badge number 3, we can now head for the next gym. And it will essentially go in the same order as so we went through in the prequel titles. Which of course means is that our next gym is indeed going to be in Nimbasa City. But before we actually get ourselves out of Castelia City, yeah, we once again meet up with the same person that we actually met up that we actually first encountered him within the Castelia sewers. And now he wants us to take a look at our Pokemon. Oh, how interesting. Your Mandamite seems to display more self-confidence than others of the same species. And you're a trainer with merely three badges. Fantastic. Yeah, I suppose you can say this. I'm not sure how you're doing it, but you're bringing out the power of your Pokemon. Oh, excuse me. I am a scientist. My name is Colress. Yes, indeed he is. The theme of my research is bringing out the power of Pokemon. Bringing out the power of Pokemon. Is it possible to bring out their maximum power through the bond they share with their trainers, or is there some other different method? I'd like to test my theory by battling with you. Sure. Do you find this acceptable? Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind a battle. So, yeah, why the hell not? Either way, I'll be waiting on Route 4. It's just beyond here. Yes, it surely is. So long, Colress. Yeah, we will definitely be seeing you soon enough. Okay, now before we hand ourselves off to Route 4. Now, since we have met a bunch more Pokemon ever since we last talked to him, this scientist here, where he said that he wants us to meet at least 40 Pokemon, and look at that, we've encountered at least 49 Pokemon. Now the thing that he's indeed going to give us is actually the item called the Eviolite. Now, for those of you that don't know what the Eviolite works, now it will give you an increase in defense and special defense. But however, it will only work on Pokemon that have not fully evolved yet, and which is actually what I am going to be giving to my Growlithe here. It's because we're considering we are not going to be finding a Firestone for Growlithe anytime soon, and if I want my Growlithe to face up against some more stronger Pokemon out there, then I'm definitely going to need my Growlithe to get at least some good, much more of a defensive boost as we take on those strong Pokemon. Yeah. But anyways everyone, now as you can see as well, now as soon as we leave the city, we are once again interrupted by Bianca. Well, who this time now gives us the Dowsing Machine. Now the Dowsing Machine essentially works the exact same way as it did last time. Okay. Now as for Route 4 itself. Now considering it's been 2 years ever since the prequel titles, Route 4 itself has been changed substantially, and it also differs dramatically depending on the version that you're playing. Now, for those of you who are playing the Bull or Lactu, the construction of a settlement along the road has been completed. Along with the road haven't been completed. Whereas in the version that we are playing, White 2, the construction was actually abandoned after ancient ruins were discovered and also excavated. So yeah, Route 4 itself has definitely gotten a big major change up within the 2 years. Yeah, it's actually one of the few areas within the it's actually one of the few areas within the Universe region has definitely gotten the biggest dramatic changes. Now, as for what this guy just said here about the breeders always wanting to challenge trainers. Yeah, that's something that you're probably going to be annoyed by. Yeah, considering, now every time you leave and re-enter the area, now once you have defeated the breeder in that area, then leave, then re-enter the area again. Then the breeders will always want to keep on challenging you to a battle. Yeah, just so that just in case if you want to go back to where you were. Yeah, which can get pretty annoying at times. Yeah. Yeah, which is why a lot of people despise the breeders which is why a lot of people despise the breeders in Bull or Lactu and White 2 a lot. Yeah. But anyways, everyone. Now as for the Pokemon that we can find in Route 4. Now, just like in the prequel titles, now this will be your first area where you'll be able to encounter Sandiles, Darumaka's and Scraggies. However, in a Bull Lactu and White 2, they now have some version exclusives. Whereas you've been seeing, now in White 2, you'll be able to get Minccino. Whereas in Bull or Lactu, you'll be able to encounter Trubbish. Now, however, this does not mean that Minccino and Trubbish. Now, this does not mean that Trubbish and Minccino are version exclusives. Well, they are only version exclusive to this route alone. To this route only. Yeah, it's because of the different structures of Route 4 is considered. Yeah. It essentially depends on the layout of the route, of the version of the game, of the version of the game that you are playing. Yeah. Whereas when we reach the areas that are close to Nimbasa City, yeah, then you'll be able to encounter Minccino and Darumaka in both versions. Yeah. Okay, now as for surfing, this is still another location where you can find Frillish, Jellicent, and Aloha. Whereas for fishing, now this indeed, I'm pretty sure this is the only route in the game where you can not only get Clam Pearl and also for Relicanth, but then within White 2, you'll be able to encounter Gorbis, and in Black 2, you'll be able to encounter Huntails. And as for the other Pokemon, you'll be able to not only encounter more Qwilfish, and you'll be able to encounter, this is indeed our second area that we can actually get to encounter Finneons and Luminions, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did get to talk about how you get to encounter Finneon and Luminion back in Verbank City, I believe. Yeah, now, which was also the same location where you can also get Qwilfish there too. Yeah, but anyways, everyone. Now, as you can see, now I did manage to get not only Minccino but also a Darumaka. But however, the Pokemon that I actually want to catch is indeed going to be the same Pokemon that I actually utilized during my prequel playthrough. That, of course, being a Sandile. But however, it is not just any Sandile that I want. Now the Sandile, of course, that I want is indeed once again the Sandile who has the ability Intimidate. Now, considering that I believe during the prequel playthrough, I did manage to encounter my Intimidate Sandile really quickly, so I think we should be able to do the same thing here too. But with the way things are going currently, yeah, as you've been seeing, yeah, I got to my first encounters with not only Minccino and Darumaka, but also Scraggy. But as you can see as well, Scraggy as well. Before I actually get to my first encounter with Sandile this time around. Yeah, that is surely something of a big change. But however, I don't think Sandile's got more. But however, I believe that Sandile still has the same encounter rate. I believe Sandile still has the same encounter rate as it did before. Although I forget if it's actually been changed or not. But again, it's still really odd with the fact that I found the other three Pokemon that we can find here. But yet, still no still no Sandiles. Yeah, again, I still find that really weird, huh? Okay, now, as I am just gonna be encountering, I'm just gonna be trying to find my Sandile. I may as well just try to go over, now I may as well continue with, what I was going over last time. That of course being the Pokemon anime appearances of Lucario. Now, as I said previously, now ever since the Lucario movie, yeah, and also when Lucario started to show up in the actual anime episodes, yeah, within every series of the anime, yeah, you're gonna be seeing at least one Lucario that is gonna get at least one major appearance in. Yeah, and especially if you're watching Journeys and Horizons. Yeah, and especially if you're watching either the Colress series, Journeys, Horizons. It's definitely where Lucario definitely gets the most treatment in. Yeah, and that is only because with the fact that they obviously want to show off its Mega. Because they obviously want to show off its from Mega Evolution. Yeah, Carlos definitely showed it off quite a bit. And Journeys definitely showed us Mega Lucario even more than we really wanted to. Yeah, well, more so, Journeys kept shoving Lucario in our faces. And then as for Horizons, yeah, even though the Lucario in that series is actually a shiny one, but it's still only there just to show off its Mega Evolution. And it is also shown, and we also got to see the Mega Lucario Z as well. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, within like every series ever since its debut anime appearance, yeah, Lucario's been showing up very much. Yeah, there's gonna be at least one episode where Lucario gets one major appearance. Yeah. Okay, now continue on what you're seeing on screen. Okay, so currently this is our third Sandile that we have encountered, but so far they all seem to have Moxie. And this one also does too. Really, and especially after all of the other Pokemon that I have been encountering, and yet none of these Sandile, for some odd reason, they just happen to have Moxie. Okay, Sandile number 4. Okay, hopefully you have Intimidate. Come on, really? Where the hell is my Intimidate Sandile? Seriously. Okay, I think me finding the Intimidate Sandile apparently was really too easy, which I'm pretty sure me encountering that Intimidate Sandile last time ended up being really easily. Yeah, but now, it's like, now the game just really wants me to utilize a Moxie Sandile more. But I just don't want a Moxie Sandile. I want a Sandile that has freaking Intimidate. Okay, Sandile number 5. Please have Intimidate. God damn it! Come, really? 5 Sandiles encountered so far. 5? And yet, none of them have freaking Intimidate! Come on, why? Why do you freaking hate me, game? Oh my god, okay. Sandile number 6! Oh my god. Please let you have Intimidate! Again! Why? Oh, come the fuck on! Where is my Intimidate Sandiles at? Okay, you know what? If this is gonna keep going like this, if this is the way this is gonna go at this point, yeah, with me just trying to find Intimidate Sandiles, okay, yeah, you know what, if I get to a point where, if it gets to at least 20 minutes, and I still don't have my Intimidate Sandile, then I'm just gonna have to try to find them off screen, considering, yeah, not only do these other Pokemon keep on showing up, but the Sandiles I do find, they all seem to have Moxie. Ugh. Jeez, yeah, and I definitely do not want to spend an eternity for you guys out there while watching this. Yeah, to see me struggle just so I can try to find my Intimidate Sandile. Yeah, and this isn't like the Verbank complex, where I was trying to find my Magnemite with Sturdy. Yeah, whereas this time there are not only fewer Pokemon that you can actually encounter. But just like with Growlithe, you can tell which Sandile has Intimidate or not. So it's just for the fact that these Sandiles just don't want to bother showing up. but when they do, they all seem to have freaking Moxie! Jeez! Okay. You know what? If I see one more Sandile, and if he does have Moxie, I'm gonna have to get him. I'm just gonna have to get him off screen. Okay. Okay. Last Sandile for this whole video. Please, for the love of God, have Intimidate. Okay, I'm not gonna scream at the top of my lungs here. But God fucking damn it. Are you fucking serious? All these Sandiles I've encountered, and none of them seem to have Intimidate. Okay, everyone. I guess that should be it for this video. So I'll see you guys for the next one after I finally have my Intimidate Sandile again. And so until then, I'll see you guys next time.